Meredith can go f herself. I'm done with her. Because I'm not a whore and I don't cheat on my husband. Her and her dumb family that poses. Why don't you own a house? Wait, you can't. Because your husband changes jobs every 5 minutes? Fake Meredith is a piece of I have your back and I'm offended by that. You that piece of garbage whore. I hate her. She's a whore. She's half of New York. She can go f herself.
From luxury tequila campaigns and glamorous Sundance parties to ugly lawsuits and public humiliation, Lisa Barlow's empire didn't just stumble, it crumbled. Once celebrated as the confident, high-achieving queen of Sundance, Lisa represented everything the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City was meant to be: success, style, and relentless ambition. She built her brand around Vida Tequila, a symbol of sophistication, and luxe marketing, her supposed proof of business mastery. But behind the designer clothes and picture-perfect branding was a growing list of problems that would eventually destroy the image she worked so hard to maintain. Because Lisa's story isn't just about a reality star losing popularity, it's about a repeated pattern of financial missteps, broken friendships, and questionable choices. A pattern that many say made her downfall not just predictable, but deserved. In this video, we'll uncover how lawsuits, on-camera outbursts, and public backlash turned Lisa Barlow's world upside down. From the rise of her tequila empire to the cracks that exposed her real struggles. This is the full picture of how one woman's drive for fame and luxury led to her own undoing. Let's rewind and see how it all built up: the rise, the cracks, and then the collapse. Before the lawsuits, before the drama, Lisa Barlow was known as the woman who had it all. She built her reputation on ambition, luxury, and tequila. Specifically, Vida Tequila. Founded with her husband John, Lisa marketed the brand as more than just a drink. It was a lifestyle. Sleek, modern, and premium, it quickly became a symbol of her glamorous persona. Lisa linked the product to Utah's growing social scene, the Sundance Film Festival, and her own identity as a driven, self-made entrepreneur. To fans, she wasn't just selling tequila, she was selling Lisa Barlow, the woman who seemingly turned every moment into a business opportunity. When The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City premiered in 2020, Lisa immediately stood out. Her polished confidence, sharp wardrobe, and relentless self-promotion made her a central figure. She called herself the Mormon who drinks, embracing controversy while flaunting her bold individuality. On screen, she came across as strong, assertive, and unapologetic, qualities that gained her both admirers and critics. Some saw her as a symbol of empowerment, while others called her a queen bee, a perfectionist who always had to be in control. Her brand placements on the show, from Vida Tequila to luxe marketing, turned Bravo airtime into free advertising. Every dinner party, event, or argument somehow circled back to her businesses, reinforcing the idea that Lisa was a hustler. She didn't just play the game of reality TV, she monetized it. By the height of season 2, Lisa had achieved what most housewives dream of: fame, influence, and a thriving business portfolio. She represented power, precision, and perfection. Or so it seemed. Her social media mirrored her on-screen image: glamorous events, family photos, tequila bottles, and a touch of attitude. Everything looked flawless from the outside, but behind that polished facade, cracks were already forming, cracks that would soon expose a very different side of Lisa Barlow. Lisa Barlow's brand was always built on precision: her words, her fashion, her tequila, everything polished and perfectly presented. But when financial lawsuits started piling up, the shiny veneer began to crack. What started as whispers about unpaid debts soon evolved into headlines that directly challenged her image as a meticulous, successful businesswoman. The first major storm hit in June 2024 when Yukon Construction's owner, Bart Carlson, filed a lawsuit claiming that Lisa and her companies owed $442.36 in unpaid loans. According to court documents cited by Collider, Reality Blurb, and Distractify, Carlson alleged that between May 2010 and February 2018, he loaned Lisa and her companies several large sums of money to help her through business hardships. He said there was no clear repayment schedule, only Lisa's verbal promise to pay him back when her companies stabilized. Over time, Carlson allegedly made repeated requests for repayment, only to be met with delays or silence. The tone of the filing painted Lisa as evasive and unwilling to settle her debts, despite maintaining a high-profile lifestyle on national television. Lisa, of course, pushed back. She vehemently denied the claims, telling TMZ that Carlson's allegations were completely false and that she always pays her bills. She framed the lawsuit as a personal attack rather than a legitimate financial grievance, hinting at ulterior motives. Still, for a reality star whose entire identity was wrapped in luxury branding, the optics were terrible. The lawsuit cut directly into her credibility. Her tequila brand, her image as a boss woman, even her "I'm self-made" tagline, all suddenly looked fragile. A six-figure lawsuit doesn't just question your bank account, it questions your integrity. In the world of Bravo, perception is currency. Once that starts slipping, it's hard to recover. Only months later, August 2024 brought another blow. A separate lawsuit filed by the McGeary Family Trust alleged that Lisa's company, Vida Tequila, borrowed $400,000 USD in December 2022 to purchase raw materials. The loan agreement, detailed in reports by the Salt Lake Tribune, stated that the amount was due for repayment within 1 year. By the end of 2023, the trust claimed no payments were ever made. The deal was also said to include an option for the lender to convert the loan into equity, meaning they could have become part owners if things went south. By the time the repayment deadline passed, the trust accused Lisa and her team of ghosting them completely. Once again, Lisa maintained that the claim was baseless. According to TMZ and other entertainment outlets, some reports suggested the case may have been dismissed or withdrawn, but the damage was already done. 2 lawsuits in less than a year, each involving hundreds of thousands of dollars, painted a picture of a woman and a brand struggling to keep up with its own luxury facade. Even if one or both suits fizzled in court, public perception doesn't wait for verdicts. To many viewers and potential partners, the message was simple: there's smoke here, maybe even fire. Lawsuits like these don't just stain an individual, they ripple across every brand they touch. Vida Tequila and Lux Marketing were both built around Lisa's personal image. Sleek, confident, aspirational. When that image comes under legal scrutiny, every partnership and investor suddenly sees risk instead of reward. Suppliers may start demanding advance payments, event organizers may quietly drop sponsorship deals. Influencer contracts get postponed indefinitely. Once the public associates your name with lawsuits and unpaid debts, every handshake becomes more cautious. For Lisa, who leveraged the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City to position herself as a Utah mogul, this reputational hit struck directly at her empire's foundation. Her luxury tequila and her boss energy relied on an image of control and financial stability. The lawsuits turned that illusion into a liability. The fallout even spilled into the show. During an infamous RV trip episode, her castmates openly discussed the Salt Lake Tribune headline about her lawsuits, using it as ammunition during arguments. What was once her stage for success became her stage for public shaming. In the reality TV ecosystem, drama sells, but scandal tied to credibility can end careers. Unlike feuds or gossip, financial accusations leave a stain that sponsors can't ignore. Brands that once saw Lisa as a sleek ambassador for luxury began keeping their distance. If this pattern continues, her empire risks shrinking from multi-brand lifestyle to a single struggling label. As Bravo audiences watch her reputation unravel in real time, Lisa Barlow's downfall seems less like a one-off misstep and more like the inevitable collapse of a carefully curated illusion. Her empire wasn't taken from her overnight. It's being peeled away, layer by layer, by the very image she built. Lisa Barlow once thrived under Bravo's spotlight. Every confessional, every outfit, every business plug, she made sure the cameras captured her in control. That control began to fracture. What started as lighthearted shade turned into public self-destruction. It happened when no one was supposed to hear her. In a private moment, Lisa forgot or ignored that the cameras were still rolling. Her now infamous hot mic rant about Meredith Marks became one of Bravo's most replayed scenes of the year. She called her former friend a whore who's fucked half of New York and mocked her marriage and reputation in a moment of pure rage. That outburst was supposed to be off camera. Instead, Bravo producers aired it in full, and the fallout was nuclear. Fans were shocked. Castmates turned against her. The confident queen of Sundance suddenly looked petty, cruel, and out of control. The incident transformed Lisa from a witty boss into a Bravo villain overnight. Online discussions exploded. Reddit threads dissected every word. Twitter users labeled her narcissistic, unhinged, and mean girl energy in designer heels. Even Bravo superfans, who often forgive outrageous behavior for entertainment's sake, began to call her toxic and fake nice. The rant didn't just expose anger, it exposed hypocrisy. Lisa's entire brand rested on being polished, composed, and loyal to her circle. The aftermath was brutal. Meredith Marks refused to film with her for weeks. Heather Gay and Whitney Rose, already skeptical of Lisa, used the opportunity to question everything about her persona. By season 3, Lisa found herself isolated in group scenes, often defending herself alone, while others exchanged eye rolls or smirks. In confessionals, she insisted she was being attacked for being successful. But the narrative had already shifted. Lisa wasn't the victim, she was the problem. As episodes aired, she tried damage control through interviews, claiming the rant was a moment of exhaustion and not representative of who she is. But Bravo viewers have long memories. The clip went viral, reappearing on TikTok months later with new edits and commentary. The internet had decided Lisa wasn't misunderstood. She was exposed. The more Lisa tried to fix her image, the more cracks appeared. Every attempt to own it, or move on, came across as rehearsed and self-promotional. By the end of season 4, Lisa had gone from the franchise's unofficial leader to its lightning rod. And that's when the social media storm began, the one she couldn't PR spin her way out of. When the cameras stopped rolling, social media kept the chaos alive. For someone who once thrived on curated Instagram grids and glamorous family photos, the online response to Lisa's behavior was devastating. Before the lawsuits and rants, Lisa's social media feed was pure aspiration. Luxury outfits, tequila events, and selfies from Sundance rooftops. But after the Hot Mic episode aired, the comment sections transformed overnight. What once filled with queen and icon became lines like, "You can't buy class." Imagine calling yourself self-made when you don't even pay your loans. Fan accounts that used to celebrate her style began posting meme edits of her meltdowns. The hashtags Tequila Tears and Hot McLisa trended across Bravo fan spaces. In true reality star fashion, Lisa tried to take control. She issued soft statements on podcasts saying she was being unfairly targeted by other women who envied her success. She doubled down on her narrative, that she's authentic, misunderstood, and a hard worker who refuses to be bullied. Her tequila company, Vida Tequila, began facing online boycotts from former fans. Users flooded review sites with one-star ratings referencing her on-screen behavior. A few event organizers quietly dropped her from scheduled appearances, citing brand alignment concerns. On social media, her followers stagnated. Influencer analytics pages noted a consistent dip in engagement, the surest sign that a once loyal audience had checked out. Worse still, the Bravo community thrives on narrative arcs, and Lisa's story had reached its peak villain era. Once producers realize a cast member's persona is more exhausting than entertaining, the editing turns merciless. By season 5, Bravo fans were already asking if it was time to recast Salt Lake City. Public opinion eventually settled on one idea. Lisa Barlow's downfall wasn't accidental, it was earned. Viewers saw the lawsuits, the insults, and the arrogance as symptoms of a deeper truth, that Lisa had always believed her own PR too much to recognize her flaws. She once said on RHOSLC, "I don't need anyone to validate me. I validate myself." As Bravo's cameras rolled into another season, something had changed. Lisa Barlow was no longer the center of the storm, she was the storm everyone wanted to avoid. Producers, once drawn to her sharp tongue and luxury aura, began to pull back. What had once been great TV now felt exhausting. Behind the scenes, Bravo insiders described her as defensive, overly controlling, and resistant to any edit that didn't flatter her. During reunion tapings, she talked over her castmates, blamed editing, and insisted she was the real victim. Even Andy Cohen's once friendly interviews took on a sharper edge, suggesting Bravo's patience had run out. Within the cast, isolation hit harder. Meredith Marks, her longtime friend turned enemy, refused to film joint scenes unless necessary. Heather Gay and Whitney Rose mocked her behind confessional doors, calling her inauthentic and a walking commercial. Once Lisa's confidence dominated every group dynamic, now her presence drained the room. She began filming more solo scenes, framed less as a leader and more as a woman trying to convince herself she hadn't lost control. In Salt Lake City's polished, image-driven social world, association is everything, and Lisa had become radioactive. The combination of legal troubles, public backlash, and on-screen meltdowns left her trapped in a shrinking bubble. Bravo might not fire her outright, not yet, But the message was clear. Her power within the franchise was gone. Once the show's face of ambition and glamour, she'd become its cautionary tale. By the start of the next season, Lisa's scenes felt different. The cameras no longer admired her, they observed her. Her words, once confident, now sounded defensive. The woman who once demanded control of her narrative had completely lost it. Lisa's downfall didn't stay confined to Bravo. It spread through the public consciousness like wildfire. Former fans who once quoted her lines now mocked her clips on TikTok. Influencer pages that used to feature her outfits now dissected her lawsuits. Sponsors that once invited her to VIP tables now politely declined her RSVP. Each apology post felt scripted, each brand promotion more desperate than the last. The cracks in her marriage and family storyline became a point of fan speculation. On screen, her husband John appeared weary and withdrawn. The family that once symbolized stability for the RHOSLC brand now looked quietly fractured. Lisa's insistence on maintaining a perfect image only deepened the sense of denial surrounding her. Fans began calling it the Bravo bubble, a delusion built on glamour, collapsing under its own weight. By now, Lisa wasn't just fighting for reputation, she was fighting for relevance. Bravo's newer stars had eclipsed her, and the cultural fascination that once surrounded her had shifted to fresher faces. Public sympathy faded completely. In a media landscape that rewards humility, Lisa's refusal to take responsibility made her downfall feel deserved, almost inevitable. Lisa Barlow's legacy, if one could call it that, now stands as both a warning and a study in ego. Her lawsuits, her hot mic rant, her arrogance on reunion stages, they didn't destroy her career by accident. They exposed a truth she refused to see. Authenticity cannot be manufactured. The more she tried to curate perfection, the more the cracks showed. Her downfall was not caused by betrayal or bad luck. It was self-inflicted. Today, Lisa Barlow's name carries a different weight. Not the aspirational figure of early RHOSLC, but a reminder of how fame built on self-delusion eventually collapses. Her empire still exists, technically. Vita tequila bottles still line store shelves. Her Instagram still glitters with luxury filters. But the trust, admiration, and curiosity that once made her powerful are gone. In the end, Lisa's story isn't about one woman's mistake. It's about the inevitable price of living a televised lie. She wanted to be seen as flawless, but in doing so, she revealed more flaws than anyone could have imagined. And now, the woman who once toasted to success at every turn is left with the bitter taste of her own creation. Proof that in the world of Bravo, karma doesn't just arrive, it films in 4K.